We're going to pick up with naming the parent function. So question 12, naming the parent function and describing the transformations that have been performed. So we will look at number 12. Number 12, this is quadratic because of the squared term and because of the 2 in front, it is stretched. Meaning it gets taller. Number 13, you see those bars, which means it's absolute value. And that 1/2 in front will make it wider or compress. So that is due to the 1/2 in front of the function, the a value. And then number 14, this is linear. It's y equals mx plus b, negative 2x plus 0. So this is linear. The negative in front will cause it to flip or reflect over the x-axis. And the 2 will cause it to stretch by 2. Number 15 is kind of strange because you have this 2/3 in the parentheses. So we're going to fix it. If I distribute the 2, the exponent of 2, it would become negative 4/9 x squared, because 2 squared is 4 and 3 squared is 9. So now we can say, okay, so it's quadratic. And it was reflected because of that negative sign in front. Reflect over the x-axis. And the 4/9 causes it to compress, get wider, by a factor of 4/9, meaning my y values will get 4/9 the size. Number 16 is also quadratic because of the squared. The negative in front causes it to reflect. The 3/2, that is 1.5, so this is actually a stretch by a factor of 3/2. We'll move on to just compositions in general now. Okay, so first thing, often you'll have more than one transformation used at a time. The order in which you apply the transformations does matter. You have to have your stretches and compressions or reflections happening first, translations happen last, because stretches, compressions, and reflections are all multiplication, and translations are all plus or minus, so that's addition or subtraction, which in order of operations, multiplication goes first. Let's look at just a general form of transformations. You have this negative, if you have a negative sign out in front, that will cause it to reflect. The a value in front will either cause it to stretch, if a is bigger than 1, or compress, if a is between 0 and 1. Okay, your h value here will make it shift left if it's positive, or right if it's negative. And then your k value at the end is your up if it's positive, or down if it's negative. So looking at 18, 19, and 20, we're going to name the parent function and describe the transformations that have been performed. 18 is an example of a linear function. If you were to distribute that out, it would be mx plus b. The 2 in front causes it to stretch by a factor of 2. The minus 1 causes it to go right 1. And this plus 4 causes it to go up 4. Number 19 is absolute value. The 1/2 in front is less than 1 or between 0 and 1, so that is a compression by 1/2. This plus 1 makes it go left 1. And this minus 3 makes it go down 3. Lastly, number 20, this is quadratic because of the squared term, the exponent of 2. The negative out in front will cause it to reflect over the x-axis. The 5/3, okay, 5/3 is bigger than 1. It is 1.66. That causes it to do a stretch, so it gets bigger. Stretch by a factor of 5/3. Minus 4 takes it right 4. And lastly, plus 2 takes it up 2. Number 21 is kind of tricky. We're going to first list out what transformations we're seeing, and then we'll talk about the order in which you have to do them. So I see 4 things happening. I see a reflection, because of this negative. I see a stretch by 2, because the a value is 2. And then I also see minus 1 in the parentheses, so that will take it right 1. And your plus 2 at the end here, that takes it up 2. Okay, the order in which you do these matter. Reflections and stretches are multiplication. Is that negative 2 in front? So this has to happen first, and then the right one up 2 has to happen last, because that's addition and subtraction. The first thing that we're going to do is get our points. So I'm going to use this table to write down my 4 points. My 4 points are -2, -2, 1, 1, 3, -1, and 6, 5. I'm just getting those points from these points right here. Okay, and now we're going to do, first we're going to do the reflection and the stretch by 2. So in order to do that, we're actually just going to multiply our y values by -2, because it's the a value in front. We're doing that multiplication first. So I'm going to take my points here, and I'm going to multiply by -2. And that should give me new points. So I'll just set it up. My x values are not going to change, but my y values will, because they're getting stretched. So -2, 1, 3, and 6. Those x values will all stay the same, but we're going to multiply our y values. So -2 gets multiplied by -2 and becomes +4. 1 gets multiplied by -2 and becomes -2. -1 gets multiplied by -2 and becomes +2. 5 gets multiplied by -2 and becomes -10. So these are my new points after the stretch and the reflection. So it gets multiplied by 2 and it changes signs, is what you see happens there, or multiplied by -2. We're going to now plot those points. You can do the same thing if you just do this visually. I'm trying to stretch it and multiply it by 2. So to take this point, I reflect it over, and then I multiply it by 2. So it was at 2. Now my y value is going to be at 4. So I put my point right there. I'm actually not going to put a point right now. I'm just going to put a little x so we know, because we're not done. So I'm just marking the spot, so to speak, of this stretch and this compression. Now take this point and flip it over, and then we're going to double it, multiply by 2. So it should be right here. I'm just going to put a little x to mark the spot for now. Now this point's at -1, so it reflects over, and it doubles by 2, so that's how we get the 0.32. So you can do this with a graph. You can do this, with the points like we did over there, or you can just do it visually like I'm kind of doing right now. It's the same points. Take this point, you flip it over, it becomes -5, and then it doubles, so it's actually down here at like -10. So if I connect these, then I have a nice, this graph has now been reflected and stretched, so it's a little bit taller now and narrower. But we're not done, because now we need to do right 1 up 2. So we take each point and move it right 1 up 2, and that's my final graph. And I'm just shifting each point right 1 up 2 and connect it. The one you see in blue with the actual points is my final graph. That one is at -8, so it's just off the grid. You'll see, obviously I didn't graph these points, take these points to graph them, but that's how we get the new ones. The ones in red are the stretches and reflection, and then I moved it right 1 up 2. Lastly, we are going to take a parent function and perform some transformations and rewrite it. So it says let f of x equal x squared. Write a new function g of x that has been vertically stretched by a factor of 5, reflected over the x-axis, shifted 2 units left and 3 units down. There's a lot happening here, so one thing at a time. Reflected over the x-axis. We'll do that first. So that would be a negative out in front. That's this guy. Okay, stretched by a factor of 2. Sorry, stretched by a factor of 5. That goes in front. Shifted 2 units left. So that'd be x plus 2 and 3 units down, minus 3. Same type of thing on the next one. It says this time though, f of x is the absolute value of x, so a different parent function. Write a new function g of x that has been compressed by a factor of 1/2 and shifted 4 units up. My compression by 1/2. That goes in front for an a value. And then shifted up 4 units. We'll do plus 4 at the end.